concentration camp, where death was the only way out.
It was a dream. How could you some way escape from here?
The condemned found hope.
We kill as many Germans as we can.
Achieved the incredible. And escaped.
We hated them, and we are ready to kill them.
I can imagine that it really was true, what a German did to us.
It's a little-known story that the Nazis tried to bury. But the survivors are determined to keep the memory of Sobibor alive and are journeying back to hell one last time. In Poland, hundreds of people are gathering to commemorate the 70th anniversary of Sobibor's Great Escape. Toivi Blatt has traveled nearly 10,000 kilometers from California to take part.
My original name is Thomas Blatt. Actually, in Yiddish it's Toivi Blatt, and I'm born in a little village in Niżwica, Poland. Now I would be about 86 years old. Here we turn left, and we are in Sobibor. Here, this way, my parents, my whole family was delivered to the gas chamber of Sobibor. I remember being in this truck with my family, with my brother, with my mother and father.
My mother was very educated, so was a teacher, a very good person. My little brother was just 7. We lived close to Sobibor, so we knew what happened to Jews there.
Historian Howard Tuck has been visiting Sobibor for over 20 years and has interviewed many of the survivors.
Heinrich Himmler, who was head of the SS, was faced with a major problem. On orders from Hitler, he was told to exterminate the Jews of Poland, and they had to come up with a plan. Essentially, it was killing centres, extermination camps that were to be located in eastern Poland, and the prime purpose of those camps was the eradication of Jews.
By the time Toivi's family arrives, the SS have perfected a system that can process, gas, and burn the prisoners within 1 hour of arrival.
I remember seeing a sign that said SS, Sonderkommando, SS Special Forces. I was thinking, God, what will happen here? There was also a green house.
Still here.
In 1943, the house belonged to the SS commandant at Sobibor.
I would never imagine that I will be in exactly the place where the Commandant Reichsleiter looked out, where I, with my family, were waiting. Karl Frenzel, he yelled, women and children on one side, men on another side.
On the other side, quickly, please.
Karl Frenzel is the SS officer in charge of slave labor at Sobibor.
I was in that time with my mother. Instinctively, I felt
told me that I would
have
stand a better chance with the men. I said goodbye to my mother. I moved to my father, to the other side. And my little brother, he moved. He was with my father. we passed halfway.
I loved my brother more than anybody. Why didn't I prove my brother? Come with me.
Anyone with a trade? Step forward now.
The SS needs slave labor to carry out jobs around the camp. Just a few skilled workers will be spared. The rest, gassed.
You?
I smat, and I said, God, please help me.
Come up. Over there. Take the rest to Lager 3.
This is my last memory of my parents. On this road here, Sonic, right here.
The scale of the Nazi operation is vast. Every day, thousands of Jewish prisoners flood into Sobibor, most arriving by train.
Almost on a daily basis, up to 60 cattle trucks full of Jews were brought here from various villages and towns around Poland, and then eventually from places like Holland and even as far away as from Paris.
"84-year-old Sobibor survivor Philip Bialowitz remembers the railway well. In 1943, the Nazis forced him to become a porter. His brother Simha is the only other member of his family to be spared. 70 years later, he has flown from New York to see Sobibor one last time.
Here, I arrived in Sobibor with the rest of my family. And here, on this place, the trains arrived every day with 2,000–3,000 people. I was assigned
with other boys to help them with their heavy luggage. And when I helped them with their luggage, they offered me a tip for my services. My heart was bleeding, knowing the truth. That in half an hour they would be reduced to ashes.
In order to control and process such large numbers, the prisoners must be kept calm. SS officers trained in psychological warfare deceive the prisoners into thinking they are being resettled.
When they arrived, waltz music was playing over the loudspeaker, and a German officer gave a little speech to them.
Willkommen, meine Damen und Herren und Kinder. I apologize for any inconvenience on your journey.
Next, Watson Julie, please.
Very soon you'll be taken to your living quarters to relax. First, I recommend that you take some of these postcards and send them to your dear ones in Holland, telling them that you've arrived safely. Now, you will be expected to work here, but we want you to be healthy. There's been an outbreak of typhus in some of the other camps. So first, you will be taken for a shower.
In Sobibor, as with many of the other camps, it was all about deception. This was the whole point of Sobibor being in existence. It was a death factory.
Those that survive live only as slaves, forced to carry out the Nazis' dirty work. 600 prisoners chop wood for the ovens, burn personal effects, and sort mountains of stolen jewelry and clothes. If they get sick or don't work hard enough, they will die. Selma Engel was just 20 when she arrived at Sobibor. Her family had already been transported to Auschwitz.
My age is very old. I am 91 and a half. I was born in 1922 in Holland. The only girl from 4 children and the youngest. I was sick, I got typhus.
I was very sick.
And I was
got
very
typhus.
sick.
And you have to go to work when you're sick, or they would send you to the gas chamber.
All of you who are sick, leave now! Now! Raus, Judenpack! Schneller!
Frenzel was one of the most feared SS in the camp. Cruel, clever, a monster.
You! Are you sick? Yeah, look. No. Not today. Los!
Killing was nothing. When somebody got shot, it was nothing.
Most prisoners accept they will die in Sobibor, and that escape is impossible. The camp is run by around 20 SS soldiers who give orders to over 100 Ukrainian guards manning the fences and towers.
When I arrived, I was looking for a way out. It was a dream. Could you some way escape from here? But there was really no way. We were every day beaten and put down. We didn't have the courage.
Faced with death, the prisoners defy the Germans by living while they can.
It may be surprising to know that actually, despite the fact that they're in this factory of death, the prisoners are trying, at very least, to form personal relationships. We know of stories of them even dancing on occasion behind the back of the guards.
Selma falls in love with a Polish prisoner called Chaim Engel.
And it was wonderful. I never had a man before who was so in love with me. But we never believed that we came out of there. Never. I know, this is the end. That's the end.
Their only hope is that as long as the SS need their labor, they'll live another day.
But then something critical happens. A train pulls in at the station here at Sobibor, and inside the cattle trucks are prisoners who have been working for the Germans down the road at Belzec.
Instead of being gassed, they are immediately shot on the platform. And if a note written by one of the victims is true, the workers at Sobibor aren't needed anymore either. The bodies of the workers from Belzec are burnt in Sobibor's ovens. But the note written by one of them escapes the flames.
Leon, you must read this.
It is handed to 33-year-old Leon Feldhendler, the leader of the Polish Jews.
We're all prisoners in Belzec. The Germans used us to close down the camp. They said we would go to a new work camp. But now we're here at Sobibor, and we know this must be the end for us. You two will be killed. Don't be fooled like we were. Take vengeance. If they're getting rid of the workers in Belzec and shutting it down, then we're the next.
They know that the next stop is going to be Sobibor, and they are going to be murdered in this place. And it's that that is the real trigger for the idea of an escape from this camp.
Rumors swirl through the camp, including a tip-off from a Ukrainian guard that a date for Sobibor's liquidation has been set, the 15th of October, 1943. If he is to save his people, Feldhendler knows he must find a way to do what has never been done before. Successfully plan a mass escape from a Nazi death camp. In Sobibor, a few have tried, but the results are catastrophic.
We have had an attempted escape by some of your fellow prisoners on the logging detail. Very unfortunate. Regrettably, we must remind you that this will not be tolerated. Every 10th member of each work detail will be executed, along with these men. Eins. Scene.
12 prisoners are taken away and executed.
The biggest enemy was the knowledge that you can't escape because somebody else would pay for my escape.
We could poison the SS or dig a tunnel from the kitchen.
No. A tunnel can be easily discovered. And we would be able to get only a few of us out. We know what the SS do when a few escape.
The problems he faces is that none of the prisoners in here have a military mind. None of them understand how to plot and to plan this.
There must be a way.
But Leon, the people are too weak. They're too scared.
There must be a way.
There's always a way.
We didn't know how to fight. We never had any weapons in our hands. So another miracle happened.
The miracle is a transport packed with captured Russian soldiers. Enemy combatants are normally sent to POW camps. But as these men are Jews, they are diverted to the death camps. A few have been spared to assist the SS in a new construction project.
This was the Germans' biggest mistake they made.
My name is Semyon Rosenfeld. I now live in Israel. We arrived at Sobibor in September 1943. We had fought the Nazis in many battles together. Many had been killed. Most were young. Now we looked to our commanding officer, Lieutenant Pechorsky.
Up! Up on your feet! Now, understand this. You will work hard here. Unless you want to join your comrades in Lager 3? You. What is your name?
Lieutenant Alexander Adonovich Pechevsky, head captain.
When he arrives, he's a beacon. Pechevsky hasn't been broken by the Germans. He's still defiant.
Take them to the barracks!
He was tall and handsome. Handsome men are always brave.
Pechevsky is truly somebody who the prisoners can look to and admire and know if anybody can lead them out of this place, then it's going to be him.
Within days of the Russians' arrival, Feldhendler arranges a meeting.
You Pechevsky, yes?
Привет.
Привет. We have information that the SS are planning to kill us all. To kill us all. They set the date, the 15th of October.
So what do you propose?
A breakout.
You mean you and your friends? And the younger men?
It has to be the whole camp.
How many is that?
600. Yes.
They know from previous escape attempts that when one or two prisoners try and escape, that the Germans will take reprisals. So he is adamant that this has to be a mass breakout from the camp.
We do it. And nobody talks about this meeting. Da.
Russian officer Alexander Pechevsky is appointed the military leader of the Sobibor Escape Committee. With a hand-picked team, he examines the facility for weaknesses. What he sees is one of the most heavily fortified prison camps of World War II, with security features ordered by the leader of the SS himself.
One day, Himmler came to see the gas chamber. He had to see how it worked.
There was a small window in the ceiling of the gas chamber, where he spied on a group of 100 Dutch girls being killed.
Crucially, Himmler also spots some of the few remaining security lapses.
On looking at the camp, he decreed that the fortifications be improved here, and that included extra barbed wire. And the most vital part was the minefield that was going to be laid in the fields surrounding the camp.
This is the only camp which had live mines around the perimeter. The only one in the Second World War.
Himmler has turned Sobibor into a fortress. But after considering a number of plans, Pechevsky and his team think they may have spotted a weakness.
So why we're here? Watch. Like clockwork. Here. Every time. Like clockwork.
SS officers visit the Jewish-run workshops at the same time every day to loot the most valuable items. They also make appointments to have furniture built and clothes tailored.
Nice. Make the usual adjustments.
Pechevsky intends to use the Nazis' greed and punctuality to destroy the SS leadership of the camp.
I have a question to you. In a battle, who gets targeted first by the enemy? It's the officers. You kill them, the men are leaderless. So between 4 At 5 p.m., we kill as many Germans as we can. The Commandant, Wagner, Frenzel, all of them. The SS men will be invited into the cobblers to try on boots. With a nice long coat at the tailors. They're greedy, they will come. Electricity and phone lines will be cut. They won't be able to call or wire for help. Gives us more time to escape. And if all goes to plan, the prisoners will meet at the yard of Flogger 1. And then we climb the wire. There's every man for himself.
They plot for a simultaneous situation where guards are lured into buildings by prisoners, and at that point they are murdered, therefore cutting off the German ability to be able to organize any resistance to the breakout itself.
In workshops controlled by Jewish prisoners, they quickly prepare axes and knives. They have to escape before the 15th of October, the date for the camp's rumored liquidation. Within days, they are ready.
So the plan is set for the 13th of October, 1943. But critically, something goes wrong on that day.
Leon!
Don't just...
Germans!
What Germans?
Lots of them!
Where?
This way! Quick!
Into the railway sidings of Sobibor pulls in a train, and that train is packed with German guards. Pechersky and Feldhandler immediately think that they've got the day of the liquidation of this camp wrong. Those German guards are here to liquidate the camp.
The escape plan is postponed until Feldhandler can work out exactly why the Germans have arrived. All day, he waits anxiously to see what will happen. But there is no sign of a mass execution. Instead, the soldiers' party.
It come out that they came to have fun, to drink and to dance.
The soldiers leave that night, and the message is passed around that the escape is back on for the next day. On the 14th, the prisoners go about their normal duties. Most have absolutely no idea what's about to happen in the camp. But a few, like Toivy, are counting down the hours till the attacks begin.
I was aware that today, October 14, is destiny.
I thought that this is the best day of my life, but I'm condemned to death here anyhow.
Pechersky establishes a command center in the carpentry shop.
When we entered the carpenter's shop, Pechersky took me aside and showed me a cupboard.
Frenzel ordered the cupboard for his wife. This cupboard. He's coming at 4 p.m. this afternoon. We will kill him.
From his position in the Carpenters, Pechersky has an ideal view of other workshops where assassinations are due to take place. And Frenzel isn't the first.
He's coming.
At exactly 4 p.m., Niemann, the deputy camp commander, headed towards the tailors and went inside. The tailor had fixed a time for something Niemann was having made.
The deputy commandant is dead, but Frenzel, the biggest threat to their plans, is running unusually late.
I was given the job of killing Frenzel. I was waiting for him, but he didn't come.
Minutes later, the head of the Ukrainian Guards, Grechas, is led to the cobblers for a boot fitting. The first murders have been successful. There can be no going back. But in the men's barracks, one of the assassins has got cold feet.
One boy was supposed to go and kill 2 Germans in the SS administration block.
And the young man said, I'm not going. I am afraid and I don't go.
So Chaim said he would.
Do what you have to do, but come back.
The administration block is a high-risk target, crawling with guards.
One guy had to cut the only telephone line between the camp and Sobibor station.
Most critical parts of the plan are the cutting of the telephone wire and the cutting of the power supply to the camp itself. This is vital because it will prevent the Germans from telephoning out and being able to send reinforcements of guards and personnel here to quash the actual revolt itself.
Around the camp, the assassinations continue.
2 Germans had been killed in the tailors. 2 more had been killed in the cobblers.
It has been 10 minutes since Chaim left to kill the officers in the administration block.
I didn't know where he was, so I went looking for him. And I heard screaming. I was sure that was Chaim.
Selma can't be sure if the screams coming from inside the administration block are her boyfriend Chaim's or the Nazis he's meant to kill.
Are you hurt?
What are you doing here?
The blood.
It is okay. It is his blood, not mine.
Pechersky and the Russian assassins are out of time. Roll call is at 5 p.m. and they can't wait for Frenzel any longer.
He was the only German that didn't come at the appointed time. He'd been sent to do something urgently. Pechersky waved his hand and we went to lead the roll call.
We have to go now.
Yes.
How many? 10 or 11, I think. The commander is gone.
Frenzel?
He never came.
Doesn't matter. 11 is good.
By 5 o'clock, the prisoners have all convened in the yard. There's hustle and bustle, the atmosphere of excitement.
But everything is about to go wrong. An SS officer returning from a supply run parks his truck near the administration block. The body of SS officer Walter Rieber lies nearby.
As soon as they hear those shots ring out, they presume that the German guards are trying to liquidate and to be able to finish the revolt itself.
We have to go now.
And the leaders made a speech.
Everybody listen!
Brothers, our destiny has come.
We've killed most of the Germans, they're dead. Now, we have to rise up and live. If we must die, let's die with honor. And if you survive, tell the world about this place and what has happened here.
We knew that people would die. Nobody was given a 100% guarantee.
And I remember that point, I prayed to God, He should help me to survive.
What you now have is people trying to get over the top of the barbed wire fencing. They're trying desperately to rip open or to cut holes in the barbed wire fence. In amongst all this confusion, it takes a while for the German guards to actually cotton on to what is happening around them, the utter confusion and the noise of it all. And when they do, it then becomes a one-sided match.
Pretty soon I hear whistles.
The escape is in jeopardy. The plan demands that no SS should survive to coordinate a response. But Frenzel is alive.
I saw Frenzel, and Frenzel started shooting already.
Amidst the chaos, a breach in the fence is finally made.
A whole fence in front of me. People are climbing, and from the heaviness, the fence collapsed. In a hole on top of me, exactly when I was halfway out.
Just meters from freedom, he is trapped in the barbed wire.
Those few prisoners who are beginning to get out of the camp, they're entering into the minefield itself, and there are bodies flying everywhere as the mines are going off around them.
Toivi can only watch as the first escapees are torn apart by the minefield.
In that point, I really thought, this is it, I'm dead.
The death toll at Sobibor rises as more mines are triggered by the fleeing prisoners. But their tragic sacrifice is clearing a path for others.
So when I did slip out of my coat, I remember falling a couple times and getting out. I was thinking I was hit, but I wasn't.
Around the camp's perimeter, groups of prisoners run for their lives. Many are killed in the attempt, but over 200 men and women make it through the wire and past the minefields.
For those lucky ones, they reach the woods. In some cases, you can read accounts of where they sat in utter peace. And this would have felt like freedom. It would have felt as if they were free men.
I could die now. I've seen freedom even for a minute, because I didn't really expect to live.
Toivi, Philip, Selma and Chaim live as fugitives in the forests of Poland and Ukraine, relying on the kindness of strangers prepared to give them shelter and food. Of the 200 prisoners who make it out of the camp, over 150 are caught by search squads. But incredibly, almost 50 cheat death and survive until the war's end, making this the most successful escape from any Nazi camp in World War II. For the SS, the escape from Sobibor is a hammer blow.
As soon as the head of the SS, Heinrich Himmler, heard about the escape, he was furious and immediately ordered that this camp be completely destroyed.
Sobibor is razed to the ground, and a forest is planted over its remains. But the Nazis couldn't destroy all the evidence of their terrible crimes. 70 years after their incredible escape, some of the last living witnesses have returned to Sobibor one last time to remember the victims.
250,000 people perished. Scientists, doctors, engineers. They could build a better world.
After the war, Toivi Blatt got married and had 3 children, and now lives in California. But he never got over the guilt of surviving Sobibor. Determined to find justice for his family and others, Toivi dedicated his life to telling the world about Sobibor and promoting reconciliation. In 1983, he confronted Karl Frenzel, who had been released from prison after serving only 16 years of a life sentence.
I hesitated to go or not to go. I had a bad feeling, but I did go. Simply, I don't want to circulate the notion of hate, of prejudice, and that's what I have done.
At the end of the war, Philip Bialowitz first moved to Germany and eventually New York, where he raised a family and established a successful business.
So I still cry about that, the memories, because it's always in my mind.
Selma and Chaim evaded capture until the end of the war.
We ran, till we came to America, and then I stopped.
They got married, had 2 children, and settled in Connecticut.
We were very close, we did everything together, and it was a good life that we had together. He was my life. He was my life. I miss him every day.
Semyon Rosenfeld was one of a number of Russian soldiers who survived, including escape leader Sasha Pechersky.
We found each other in 1963. And after this, we met every 5 years. And we were friends.
Semyon rejoined the Soviet army in 1944 and helped storm Berlin a year later. On the wall of the Reichstag, just a short distance from Hitler's bunker, he left a message of defiance in memory of those that escaped Sobibor and for the thousands that didn't.